You need to be playing a chip this week in FPL, especially if you own all your chips ahead of FPL Double Game Week 24. We're going to be discussing the Double Game Weeks in the future, the best chip strategy going forward if you have all your chips available, discussing the triple captaincy chip and why Mo Salah could be a great option this week or why he could not be a good option this week. And we're also going to be talking about the assistant manager chip in terms of what the assistant manager teams are playing, and as well as that their projected points and projected wins going in to that assistant manager chip over the next few weeks if you're interested in playing that chip. We're also going to be looking at what everybody else is picking, what chip they're playing. There's been a vote up, and we're going to be seeing what is the most popular chip going in to FPL Game Week 24. We've got so much to get through in this video. Drop a like if you enjoy it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? We do daily FPL content, and all the latest news, it's on this page. So do subscribe to this channel down below. Be very much appreciated. The best way to start things off is by looking at all of the potential double and blank game weeks going on in the future. And obviously there's a double game week this week with Liverpool and Everton. Double game week 25 is not a thing. That is absolutely not a thing, not happening. But double game week 24 is the next double game week. Then there's a blank game week in 29, meaning that whoever wins in the Carabao Cup semi-final, which we'll find out soon, it could be Newcastle, it could be Arsenal, it could be Spurs, and it could be Liverpool. It could be one of them teams. It could be two of them teams, and then their opponents will also blank in game week 29. So that's definitely something we need to be aware of making our transfers in the future. There'll be more videos around that specifically. Then it's double game week 33, and that's the teams that blank in 29. Then go on to double in double game week 33. And then the teams that made the FA Cup semi-final and their opponents will all blank in game week 34, which will be a pretty big blank game week for that week. And then double game week 36 will be quite a big double game week. That'll be the biggest double game week of the season. So that could be a very good opportunity to potentially use either a bench boost or the assistant manager chip towards the end of the season. As I say, there is quite a few chips that we need to be playing. There's bench boost, triple captain, there's another wildcard still, free hit, and there's the assistant manager chip. For me personally, I've already played my triple captain foolishly on Haaland in game week 9, so I obviously will not be using my triple captaincy chip, and it's something that could be a very good option this week going into FPL game week 24. So let's start off by talking about the assistant manager chip. Just a quick recap on the assistant manager chip, how the points are scored. It's 6 points for a win, 3 points for a draw, 1 point per goal scored, and 2 points for a clean sheet. But then if you play an opponent, so if you pick a team that's lower down in the table, their manager, and they beat a team that's 5 places or higher in the table, they would then get an extra 10 points for a win and an extra 5 points for a draw, which is definitely something that needs to be taken into consideration, because we saw David Moyes last week pick up a 19-pointer, obviously getting a table win bonus against Brighton. So it's something that we certainly need to be aware of when we're choosing this manager. As I say, if you pick a good manager that's got a potential table winning bonus against a team that they might actually be able to beat, then it's a big opportunity for massive points. And as we saw, David Moyes getting that 19-pointer would have been an absolute game changer if this assistant manager chip starting in game week 23 and people put it on Moyes. Now, I thought I'd show this as the game week 24 assistant manager predicted points. So as you can see, obviously Liverpool and Everton you would expect to be at the top, due to the fact that Everton and Liverpool both have a double game week, of course. So that is why people are obviously saying everyone's choosing Arne or David Moyes as their assistant manager. So looking at the percentage chances of winning, it's all there. Of a Liverpool win, it's 55% against Bournemouth, and Everton winning against Leicester is 56%. So it's actually more likely that Everton would beat Leicester in that match. And those are the two things we really need to be looking at because they have that double game week. Then Liverpool having a 67% win percentage chance against Everton, and Everton obviously only having a 12%, with a draw being 20% in that match. So the expected points for Arne Slot as the assistant manager over that first game week in game week 24 would be 14.28 points over that first game week. Obviously, he's still got game week 25 against Wolves and game week 26 against Man City. You might want to swap your manager around by then. But as I say, in that game week 24, Arne Slot looks like the #1 pick, and obviously David Moyes is second. In third, if you're interested in a single game week manager, which I wouldn't recommend, Brighton are the highest on 9.52, but really you should be going for a double game week manager. And if you wanted to go for that, it looks like on expected points, Arne Slot would be the #1. This is based on the average wins, losses, and draws scored over the last 5 seasons. Had the assistant manager chip been available, that is, and the wins and the losses are recorded from Oddschecker there. So that's definitely some very valuable information. We'll go into what its predicted points in game week 25, because obviously we want to see is it viable to maybe swap your assistant manager out. If you're owning a David Moyes, you might want to swap David Moyes out of that Crystal Palace fixture that he's got in game week 25 and maybe go to a better manager. So let's have a look at game week 25, the assistant manager predicted points. So now looking at the predicted points for game week 25, this is where it gets very interesting again. Of course, if people are using Arne Slot, the expected points for Liverpool in game week 25 would be 8.99. So another good week predicted by Arne Slot. That would be about 23 points picked up across the first 2 game weeks for the assistant managership if you were to put it on Arne, so just based off expected point size. Of course, we don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. But it's quite interesting to look at this and see what managers and what teams have got the best chance of picking up some points on the assistant managership. So, as I say, that's a game against Wolves. You'd really expect Liverpool to win that. 82.31% chance of Liverpool winning that match. And an 8.99 expected points for Arne Slot. And then looking down at David Moyes, of course, that's something that we need to be considering. The percentage chance of an Everton win against Crystal Palace is only 21.6%, with the Crystal Palace having a 50% chance of winning that game. So the expected points for David Moyes is only coming in at 3.52, which clearly then puts across the first 2 game weeks Arne Slot absolutely miles clear of David Moyes based on expected points. Now, managers that could potentially be good for transfers in, obviously, if you got Arne Slot, it's perfect to use him in game week, double game week 24, and use him in game week 25 because he's got the best expected points on there. But say you did have a David Moyes, the best manager to maybe swap out would be, of course, Arsenal, but it spends a bit more of your budget. Aston Villa playing against Ipswich have a good chance with 7.97 for Unai Emery. Bournemouth is an interesting one because Bournemouth have a very good double game week 26 as well. They play against Southampton with a 57% win percentage chance and 6.76 expected points for Ireola. I made a video talking about Ireola the other day, and I think Ireola could be a really good option because Bournemouth do have another really nice fixture in game week 26 against Wolves, I believe. So an easy swap from David Moyes if you wanted to go for David Moyes in game week 24. Swap him to Ireola. You got 2 really good fixtures in game week 25 and 26. But I thought that was very interesting just to pull up these expected points for the assistant manager because I don't think many people are talking about it. And as I say, this data is based off the last 5 seasons. So it's quite accurate data in terms of the expected points. And it's something that's definitely, as I say, it's quite interesting to look at going into the future game weeks. Just looking at David Moyes in a bit more detail, this is the kind of fixture run that David Moyes has, how it is. So he could potentially get a table bonus win against Liverpool, which is some big potential points. And he could maybe get clean sheets and goals versus Leicester with it being a nice fixture. And obviously it's a new manager bounce with David Moyes as well. And it does help as well, of course, that the game against Liverpool is at home as well. And the game against Leicester is at home. It says in that graphic that it's actually away. I'm pretty sure, 90% sure that game is actually at home to Leicester. So then in game week 25, you're not going to get a table winning bonus win with Crystal Palace. If Crystal Palace did beat Brentford on Sunday, they would have actually had a table bonus winner. Everton would have had a chance to have a table bonus win against Crystal Palace, but that is now not the case. That is impossible for game week 25, which is a real shame, which really does kind of derail Moyes' chances in my personal assistant manager chip usage of actually using Moyes. And then United are only 3 points ahead, so there's no table bonus in that game as of right now. It could obviously change by then with teams overtaking Palace or United going further up the table. But again, it's quite unlikely. And if you're to predict it now, I don't think United will be above. It will be 5 points above. It will be 5 places above Everton. So there will be a table bonus in there. And Everton have lost 6 matches versus United, so they've not got a good record, but it is a home fixture. So overall, David Moyes, it's not an awful option to use David Moyes as your assistant manager, but I do think there'll be better options later on in the season. As for Mo Salah, triple captain, it's interesting because he's not been in as good form here. I thought I'd pull up his XG numbers in recent weeks. So in the last 2 weeks, he's only got a combined 0.41 across the 2 matches, 0.23 against Ipswich and 0.18 against Brentford, then only 0.47 against Nottingham Forest. And if you look at his numbers further down, his expected goals has always been so good this season, and in recent weeks, it has dropped off, I think it's fair to say. And Liverpool, they've still been picking up points and getting some wins. They have kind of not been, I wouldn't say they've impressed as much since the turn of the year. Even against Brentford, they scored 2 late goals. Against Ipswich, it was a comfortable win in all fairness, but Salah not really contributing too much in that game, just getting a goal. And as I say, his numbers and his expected XGI wasn't the best in them games, which is a little bit of a cause for concern, of course. And then when you look at the fixtures that he's got in double game week 24, this is for if you're going to be playing your triple captain, he's got Bournemouth away and Everton away, which they're not awful fixtures, but Bournemouth, the way that they've been playing, they've just smashed Nottingham Forest 5-0. They beat Newcastle 4-1. So it's a very difficult fixture against Bournemouth, who, as I say, they're the informed side in the Premier League right now. They've been on an incredible run of form for quite a while now. I'm definitely pushing them Champions League places as well. So it's not an easy game, that. But as I say, it is Mo Salah. If anyone could score against anyone, we've seen over the course of this season, it's Mo Salah. It doesn't matter who he plays against. He's got massive hauls against Newcastle, against Spurs. I know Spurs are rubbish now, but you know what I mean. He's returned against City as well. Like, he does get returns against anyone. It doesn't matter. So as I say, Bournemouth, it's a very difficult fixture nevertheless. As well as at Everton, it's Derby Day. There normally are quite tight matches between Liverpool and Everton. So it's going to be a tough game, there's no doubt. And with David Moyes in charge, the new manager bounce for Everton, it's definitely not going to be an easy game for Everton. But if I was to predict something for Mo Salah, I don't see him blanking in both of them matches, to be honest. I do think he'll at least get a return maybe even 2 returns, and then you're not looking too bad because you get obviously them 2 fixtures out of it, the triple captain. You'll be looking at quite a decent amount of points, but is it as good a triple captain as what it looked to be when it first got announced the double game week, the way that Liverpool were playing? No, it's not as good because Salah's numbers haven't been as good, and Bournemouth and Everton have kind of turned a corner, especially Everton, of course, have turned a corner, and Bournemouth are really in form as well. So it's a good triple captain, of course, because it's a double game week, but the fixtures aren't ideal. But then, as I said before, for the double game weeks, there's only 3 double game weeks. You might want to be playing your assistant manager chip on a double game week. You might want to be playing your bench boost in a double game week, and then you've only got 1 in the slot. And this probably could be the best opportunity to play that triple captaincy chip in FPL Game Week 24. As for the polls, a poll came out yesterday on Twitter that was it's who's going to be using their chips on what this week. So, as I said, triple captain and assistant manager is obviously going to be the 2 most used chips over the course of this week in FPL Game Week 24. So we said, which chip are you going to be playing, with 3 options. The triple captain coming out on top with 52%. So it's going to be, you'd imagine, I mean, on FPL Twitter anyway, and with the FPL community, you'd imagine Mo Salah will be quite heavily captained going into this game week. So me being just a normal Mo Salah captain, obviously I said before, I've used my triple captain. I'm going to be getting a red arrow if Mo Salah returns, no matter what, because he's going to be captained by everybody around my rank. I'm currently at 120k. Everyone's going to be captaining him, of course, with a hefty amount that are going to be triple captaining him. On top of that, I'm going to be guaranteed a red arrow if Mo Salah does well, which he probably will do, let's be honest. So only 16% using the assistant managership, not really too popular, which is understandable. Given the fact that the fixtures aren't perfect for Arne's slot, you'd have to use a transfer on him, and you might already want your triple Liverpool as it is, like Cody, Gakpo, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mo Salah. The Liverpool players are just too good to turn down, so I can understand people not using the assistant managership. And David Moyes, as I said, with the fixtures, only 1 potential chance of a table bonus win across the 3 game weeks, and a couple of like tricky fixtures in there as well. You would say with Crystal Palace in there, even United could be a difficult fixture, and you're banking on that Leicester game to pick up a result, and you're really hoping that you can maybe get a table bonus result against Liverpool, which, as I say, probably is unlikely because Liverpool are the best team in the league. And 31%, that's me. I am one of the 31%. Will be going in chipless, which is a shame. I think everyone would love to be using their triple captain this week, but I'd imagine the 31% have pretty much already used their triple captain in either Erling Haaland in an early game week, maybe game week 3 against Ipswich, I think it was, or a lot of people did use him in game week 9 where he played against Southampton and it absolutely flopped. So let me know what you're doing, what's your plans in the comment section down below. I'd be very interested to see what you have to say. Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel. If you've watched up to this point, you may as well hit subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.